Good morning, Greta. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Not quite. I'm nearly 100.
Oh.
98.
When were you born?
Yes.
When were you
Imagine. And I'm from Vienna.
When were you born? When were you
my
born?
My father was Hungarian, my mother was Czech, and I was born in Vienna.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're 99?
No, I'm swimming with my niece.
Ah, this is your favorite thing, I think.
Fantastic. Yes.
You swim every day?
Yes. Today I'm 98.
99, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, did you have breakfast yet?
Oh, fantastic, isn't it? I'm still very fit, but at the moment, it's a bit early.
Okay. Well, you have a good swim,
Yes,
and I'll see you a bit later.
Thank you.
Greta. That's Greta, who is, as you could tell from, she was born in Vienna, but her father's Hungarian and her mother's Czech, and she got married to a British guy a very long time ago and has lived in Britain. And she still goes on holiday with her daughter to Mallorca a few times a year, and she swims every day, and you might be able to see her swimming behind me. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to do some expressions connected with swimming. Some of them we've already done. Oh, and by the way, Greta didn't have her hearing aid in, so that's why she wasn't so good with the answers. Okay, so a swimming pool usually has a deep end and a shallow end. Obviously, the deep end is deep, and shallow means not so deep. Okay, so the first expression is to be thrown in at the deep end. So let's say, for example, you have just started a new job, and your manager, your boss, goes sick, and you're asked to do their job. So obviously you wouldn't have had any training or experience doing that, so you're thrown in at the deep end. You suddenly have a lot of responsibility or things you have to do which you haven't done before. Or maybe you go to a language school and you're a beginner, but there's no beginner class, and you're put in an intermediate class, and obviously that would be quite difficult if you're a beginner, so that's being thrown in at the deep end. Swimming against the tide. Okay, I'm just going to get down on my knees here. So swimming against the tide means trying to do something which is very difficult. Of course, if the tide is going the other way, and it's more difficult to swim. So that's what swimming against the tide means. It could be used for all sorts of situations. Maybe you're in a relationship which is just too difficult, and we would say swimming against the tide. Okay, out of your depth, or out of my depth, means I'm in a very difficult situation. Again, going back to the language school lesson example. If I'm in a class which is much too difficult for me, I don't understand so much, we'd say I'm out of my depth. Again, could be used in work or in many, many different situations. Okay, to keep our heads above water. Okay, so I should imagine Greta is keeping her head above water in the swimming pool. But actually, it usually means when you're surviving financially. So maybe costs are rising, your salary isn't, or you lost your job, or only your partner's working, for example, but you are surviving financially. You're still paying the bills, managing to buy enough food. So that's keeping your head above water. In deep water, sorry, I'm on my knees, and it's actually hurting because the floor's very hard. In deep water basically means in deep trouble. So let's say my girlfriend is really angry with me about something, and I say, even though I didn't do anything, and I say to my friend, oh, I'm in deep water. It means I got a difficult situation or a lot of trouble to deal with. Sink or swim. Again, we could use this with the first example I gave you. Your manager, you start a new job and your manager or boss suddenly goes sick. And sink or swim basically means to fail, sink, or succeed. So or we say do or die. It's, you succeed or you fail. To make a splash. Okay, so I'm thinking about making a splash in September. It means to get a lot of attention, and I'm thinking about having a website launch party for passionateaboutenglish.com, inviting lots of people and speaking to them and maybe interviewing people too. So this would be called Making a Splash. And similar, another one I taught you is Making Waves. So making waves is when, you are becoming known, becoming a center of attention, and so on. Okay, if you test the water. So I didn't see Greta go in the water because I was busy with the camera, but I don't know if she just goes straight in or she dips her toes in first to see what the temperature's like. But it's kind of being a bit cautious and not diving in. That's actually the next expression. So the opposite is to dive in. You just go straight into something without worrying or thinking about it. So to test the water, maybe you have a new product in your country and you decide you want to try another country or to go international, but you just try one other country first. You just, instead of trying the whole world, you just try one other country first. It's called testing the water. Treading water. Are you treading water in your life or are you treading water in your job? So if you tread water, it kind of means you just stay in the same position in the water. You're not going forward or backward or whatever. You're just sort of staying where you are. So are you staying where you are in your job? Or are you making progress? Or are you treading water? Okay, and one joke for you today. Greta's daughter is called Christine. So this is a silly joke. Christine could ask Greta, Greta, where did you learn to swim? And she says, in the water. Of course, you're imagining Austria or Switzerland or somewhere, but no. Okay, that's your idioms. I might be able to ask Greta a few questions in a moment. Okay, so Greta has finished her swim, about 15 minutes, I guess. And that's Christine. Hello, Christine.
Hello.
So your mother is 99.
She's 99. Her birthday's in 6 months' time.
Okay. And I believe your father is actually, sorry, I said British on the video, but I think he was Greek, wasn't he?
Greek Cypriot.
Greek Cypriot. So how did your father meet your mother?
They came to Bournemouth and they met at a tea dance at the Pavilion Hotel.
But were they living here then?
Both of them were working here, yes.
All right, so what's in store for Greta today?
Today the weather's not so good. We went to the beach yesterday. She swam yesterday in the sea. But today it'll be a quieter day because the weather's not so good.
Okay. All right, so it's a little bit noisy with the jacuzzi, so I'll stop here. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Greta.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thanks, Christine. 99. Okay. That's brilliant.